Hello, true duelists. My name's Craig Fee, and welcome to the New Card Report. Duelist Advance is here to advance the game with special new tech cards for decks that you forgot existed. That's right, Banished Psychics got support with new Synchro, Monarchs got a Vassal to ruin Margaret's mental health with up to 3 Erebus per turns, and now Fenrir gets a gun. That's right, Konami has taken the YGO Strats approach and thrown a firearm in for no rhyme or reason for anyone to be able to tell you. So let's take a look at 3 new cards and see what a gun can add to casual Yu-Gi-Oh! Super Quant Black Lair is a new level 7 Dark Zombie with 2400 attack and defense, and it's also Fenrir with a gun. Yeah, that's right, this video is about Super Quant, and I'm starting with this, which is visually Fenrir with a gun. I just find that hilarious. It has 3 effects, the first of which activates when your opponent activates a monster effect that'll let you discard one other card and then summon this card from your hand. If it's special summoned, you can special summon a Super Quantal Mech Beast Xyz monster from your extra deck using this card as a material, and if you do, you can then attach a Super Quant monster from your grave to it as material. And if it's sent to the graveyard at all, you can add one Super Quant spell from your deck to your hand. Why is Fenrir holding a gun and also now a Super Quantal monster? Because it doesn't really look as much like an evil version of White Lair as much as it does Fenrir, even to the point that it has Fenrir stats. It's also great for the deck, much like Fenrir is great for its deck, because you can just summon any of the 4 Xyz monsters, and if you have the appropriate color in the graveyard to attach, you can then use those effects as quick effects, which could include Book of Moon, or a targeted pop, or a monster negate with the White Lair. It does suck, of course, you need the opponent to do something to cheat it out with its own effects, but it being a quick effect makes it more of a jump scare on the opponent's turn than something to set up your board going first, not unlike a jump scare of giving Fenrir a fucking gun. Imagine if I were to do something like that and just pull a gun out of nowhere with no explanation. Oh wait, you don't need to imagine that. That's a reoccurring thing on this channel. Super Quantal Fairy Zatan is a new evil version of Alphan, the deck's best card currently? I don't know, well, I guess we'll find out. This is a dark level 1 zombie with no attack or defense, and if it's in your hand and you control a Super Quant monster other than another copy of this, you can special summon it, and then make its level the same as one Super Quant monster you control. You can also tribute it and send one Super Quant card from your deck to the grave other than a dark monster to special summon a Super Quant monster from your deck except another copy of itself. I think that Super Quant as a deck should get a Lone Fire Blossom that also doubles as a Foolish Burial, and also is a free summon from the hand if you're playing the deck, and also, if need be, can be an Xyz material for any level you want. Because that's what this is. That's the person who designed this, and then they got what they wanted, apparently. It's extra good too, since all of the regular layers have effects that trigger in the graveyard, like to add a Super Quant spell. Nope, not quite. You can't, because you can't send the dark one, remember? But you can pitch one Super Quant card to draw a card. You could grab any Super Quant monster from your grave, add it back to your hand, and you can even add a copy of Alphan. Or you can send blue and then shuffle it right back with its own effect. Because sometimes people just want to commit time theft. And that might not be accurate to blue's effect. It's here in front of me, but I didn't read it, but it's funny to imagine. You gotta give me that much. How long shall we talk about a card that can summon itself for free, set up your grave, and get a copy of a monster from deck, and, you know, be a 1-for-1 target, and be a free Xyz, and just not, like, it's good. It's clearly good for the deck, even if this is using both of its ears to consume Ash Blossom's entire forehead every single time you try and use it. The last card they're getting is Layer 19, Preventing the Invasion, the Pitch Black Super Quantum. That's a goddamn story and a half that is apparently the name according to the organization. I don't know how I'm even going to fit that in the video here, let alone how Konami would print that on the card, but I hope they do because it'd be really funny. This is a new quick play spell that can use one of 3 effects, but you can only use each effect once per turn. The first effect will let you change an attack position monster to defense position because, again, time theft is funny. The second and more likely to be used effect will specially summon a Super Quant monster from the deck in defense position with a different attribute to any of the monsters you control, and you'll need to control a super quant monster to do so. The last effect will let you set a super quant trap from the deck to the field, and it can be activated this turn, which is pretty thumbs up. The first effect is completely irrelevant unless you're a fan, again, of wasting time. But giving super quant E-Telly of its own is pretty fitting, since I remember how many people were talking about how hurt the deck was by Emergency Teleport's limit back in Cosmo format. Not many people were on Super Quant, but enough were to complain, and I remember. A quick play extender is always great though, especially if you can summon Black Layer and then get a free Xyz and attach a layer to the grave and just get the whole Black Layer going. That's just some good shit. And it's searchable with Black Layer itself, this card is, if you end up binning that to the grave, so it's not too hard to get to, I don't think. The catch is that it checks the attributes of every monster you control, not just Super Quant ones for that E-Telly effect. So if you happen to have a dark monster on board, but no dark quantals, it doesn't matter. You're not getting any of the new ones. Oh, and also the last effect can set their in-theme trap card that makes your monsters untargetable in main phase 1. So you can just be immune to Veiler and Imperm first thing, since that effect can be used for free, and then if you have a second one, you can use the E-Telly effect later. So that's probably worth running, isn't it? All in all, it's a pretty damn solid wave of support. It reminds me a bit of the Tenyi cards from Supreme Darkness, because they also only got 3 cards, but they're all pretty solid for the deck. But where the Tenyi cards had like 2 1-ofs in the field spell and the synchro, I feel like each of these can be played in multiples, which is pretty good for Super Quant. I don't know that they fixed the deck, but I also don't know what needs fixing in the deck, so truly a worthless comment. Maybe I'm the fan of time theft all along. Either way, I don't really think this is going to be meta. When I tried to see what people were saying about it, everyone was just talking about the lore. And I feel like when people are more focused on the lore than they are the card effects, it tends to be a worse deck than a better one. You can go ahead and comment the exceptions to that rule, but I'm just saying, I don't really hear a lot about the lore of Ryziel, okay? And those are the furry equivalent of combustion engines, so surely the lore for that shit's gotta be interesting, no? Either way, I think this is really gonna help the deck, and God willing they keep the name of that spell card as is, because that would be extra funny to have to fit on a Yu-Gi-Oh card. And so that'll wrap it up for this short little Yu-Gi-Oh update of a new card report of a something. What video am I filming? What day is it? Who knows? Thank you for watching. Just covering some new cards in this one. The update will be out on Friday, as always. Until then, I've been your host, Gregory Fee. Make sure you subscribe. Not only do you impress your smoking Italian wife, not only do you become a true duelist, not only do you see me pull out... That's a phone, actually. Didn't see that one coming, did you? You thought I was going to get this piece of shit. You thought this thing was coming into your future, but nope, it's actually this. You got a free text from your mom. Give it a shot. Super Quantal Fairy Zetan. Zatan is the new evil version of Alphan, because that's just what it is, visually. This is the Dark Level 1... Oh, Is it a fiend? I feel like it's a zombie.